And you are very welcome back to the afternoon show here on Tipp FM. Now it is a Wednesday afternoon, and that means we talk wine with Gary from Red Nose Wine. So you're welcome to the afternoon show, Gary.
Thank you very much, Keith. Great to be back again.
And you have a very special guest here. I'll leave the introduction to you in case I get my pronunciations a bit wrong.
Yes, I'm delighted to welcome Basile Guibert from Masque-Domasque-Sac. And anyone familiar with any of the wines at Red Nose Wine will know the Gassac wines have been a stable favourite for many, many years.
You're very welcome to Tipperary and to Ireland and to the afternoon show, Basile.
Bonjour, bonjour. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to be there.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your vineyard.
30 kilometers north of Montpellier. You are in the south of France, Languedoc. It's a vineyard that has been created by my parents in the 70s. And from the 70s, where there was no vineyard in the map doing fine wine. There was only, sorry for my French, plonk wine.
Okay.
From the 70s to this kind of landscape where it was only terrible wine, to today, Domasque-Gassac has been described as a Lafite of the Languedoc, as a Grand Cru, or the only Grand Cru of the Languedoc.
Okay, so we're talking about, I have heard Gary mention it many times, a particular grape, so I know it's of a high quality. And when you say those two words that you described it, can you give me a little bit more information?
You mean Grand Cru?
Yeah.
Okay, Grand Cru, for the people who don't get it in French, is first growth, which is a kind of the best you would have in Bordeaux or in Burgundy. There is not such an appellation in Languedoc. However, critics from all over the world have described Domasque-Gassac as the top producer in the south of France. Why is that? We could speak on for the all night or the all day. It's like we need a 2 or 3 or 5 bottles to to really explain it. But why is it's the soil, it's a climate. It's my parents. It's the craziness wanted to create something that was not meant to be created there, and a lot of kind of masters of my parents, very famous consultant from Bordeaux that were advising Chateaubriand or Sassicaia in Italy,
I suppose another point that should be made is in the south of France, the predominant grapes are really in that part of the world. Syrah, Grenache, they're the big grapes. But Masque-Domasque-Sac, the red in particular, is made from Cabernet, which is really quite unique in that part of the world. And I think that's what brought it such worldwide fame. And if you go to any restaurant in the world, fine dining restaurant in the world, you'll more than likely see Masque-Domasque-Sac red. For example, locally, it's a huge favourite, the red and the white down in, and the Frisante. They have a beautiful Rosé Frisante in the summer down in the Cliff House. Ballymenu, places like that have it on their lists.
And Basile, would you say that your parents were pioneers?
They were pioneers. I mean, if you look at the great wine of the Languedoc today, Domasque-Gassac is the first to start. We planted the vine in 1972 and the first vintage in 78. The next second famous winemaker that arrived would be, I think, Olivier Julien, and he arrived in the 80s, mid-80s. And then you've got Grange des Pères, which arrived in the 90s, mid-90s.
And Basile, do you feel a certain amount of pressure now because your parents have created this to a certain point, and I suppose you're going to want yourself to maybe bring it a little bit further, or is that something you're looking at?
I don't. I mean, the only pressure I feel is to be creative, to be as dynamic, and to keep pleasing people, because ultimately, what I believe is, when someone buy a bottle of wine is not to invest in the winery and to give money to the winery. No, when you buy a bottle of wine, is to have pleasure, and that's what the pressure is about. When you're a winemaker, when you're part of family of winemaker, you want to be there in Clonmel, you want to be in Shanghai, to talk to the people. So there is no pressure. I mean, I don't feel so much pressure. I did several jobs. I studied politics and economics, and I didn't study wine. But I joined the family business in January 2014, being the last of 5 sons. So for 5 sons working in the business, and I mean, I feel it's the best job ever. I mean, I walk in the vineyards, and you can hear the cicadas during the summer, and it's, you know, it's warm, it's wild, you can see the birds, and there is some trees that I've planted with my father, and that's what I am. You know, it's I like the garrigue and like the local forest. That's you know, so I'm selling something that flowed through my vein. I was 3 years old when I was in a basket of grape, and all my life it has been that, and I love it. It's just like, so no, I don't think there is so much pressure.
Well, Basile, it's absolutely a pleasure talking to you, and you paint a wonderful picture, and it's more than a business to you. You can tell that just from speaking to you for a few minutes, that I suppose it's kind of a vocation more than anything else.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a very good question. I don't know, but yes, maybe it is, because all my life I never said I'm gonna come back and work for daddy and mommy. But in the end, I never thought I would work somewhere else, and consciently, I never thought I would work somewhere else. And now that I work at the winery, I feel it's normal. You know, it's yeah, and
it feels like the right place to be.
Yes.
Well, Basile, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this afternoon. And do you want to give us just the pronunciations? I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce them myself for fear I get them wrong, but the pronunciations of the wine?
Okay, I can do it, but ultimately people will look at the label and they will appropriate themselves the name. You know, that the key thing for people is not to follow critics, but to get the wine they like and put it on the same level as them. So read the label, Domažgasak,
okay,
but make it yourself and pronounce it however you want. You know, lamb, yeah. Irish lamb with a red Domažgasak is you know, we've got a house in West Cork, in very close to Bantry Bay, and during the one month per summer we are there, and we have rosemary lamb with Domažgasak red, and it's like, it's the best place to drink it, seriously.
Look at, lads, it's been an absolute pleasure talking today. All available at Red Nose Wine as well. Gary, thanks once again for joining me, and Basile, it's been a pleasure chatting to you as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith.